Hail, intrepid viewers, and welcome back! So, Ignore Firestorm could have worked out a little better. So we're gonna try one of the other two real quick. I'm hoping to explore the top level a bit more. Oh yeah, right, she hit the feints, which was super freaking cool. And you have something cool too, right? You 3 into the front, 2 to the side, shield bash, and a shield. Okay, you did a shield, which is cool. An AoE, which is, oh man, both so cool. But what do? You have 18, 8, 12. Keen Eye and Lucky. 18, 8, 12. So you're more skilled and more stamina, less luck. You're educated and lucky. I also kind of like your skill set more. 3 diagonal is huge. He only had 2 diagonal, right? 2 diagonal. And 2 diagonal is great, don't get me wrong. Better than that stupid 1 diagonal that Vigner had. But 3 diagonal is better. But these are also cool. So one thing I don't know, let me look. So one thing I liked about playing as Lin Wen Wu. Okay, so the blues. So this attack will hit before the targets can move. That was huge. Made him super strong. Not sure what the explosion here. It's different from a shield. Oh, I see, because the shield. So that 4 move only won the clash against the target, as opposed to this shield move, which gives him a shield against all attacks. He cannot be damaged with using an attack. Okay. This is tough. I mean, ideally we'll do both. I'm curious how this works. This also wins any clash. I'm curious. We'll go left to right. We'll start with her. We'll start with Ophelia Lapwing. And probably die. And then we can try out the other guy. Whose name I did not read. Hawthorne? Hogarth? I don't know. So we need to go. What was your backstory? At last your 2-day trek is over. It took longer than you thought. You skirted your home of Darkwood Forest, avoiding encounters with the dangerous beasts which lurk within. For once, your quest is not about treasure and glory, but instead one of knowledge. Darkwood Forest itself is in peril. The very life seems to be draining from the trees themselves. The once majestic trees are succumbing to a strange, magical disease that makes them wither and rot within a matter of weeks. Young saplings, which would have once taken their places, are also failing to grow. You need to find out why this is happening, and the so-called Warlock of Firetop Mountain may hold some clues. Sure. Or at worst, be directly involved with potential catastrophe. Your fear that unless you can find a cure, the forest will be doomed. Am I an elf? Am I a friggin' stupid tree-hugging elf? You lower yourself down on the mossy rocks to sit for a moment's rest, the mountain looming above you. Since leaving your home, you have been feeling unwell. At first, it felt like fatigue, but more recently, you have been sleeping fitfully, and your skin has become feverishly hot to touch. Do I get like 1 burning damage when I punch people? After some time, you make your way up a steep, rocky slope to a small opening in a cliff wall. You have seen goblins making their way to and from this entrance, and you're quite sure this is a possible entrance into Zagor's domain. Your adventure starts here. Peer into the gloom. You see more gloom. You see a rocky quarter, blah blah blah, water bubbling. Light up my lantern, kafoosh. So we need to check this out first. Watch as it breaks and we just skip everything else. You light your lantern and begin wandering through the rock-hewn tunnel. The walls are damp. Yes, we did this before. I will skip the things I've read before if I remember what I've read before. Intruder! Yes, indeed. I am the intruder. So you're gonna move, right? No, you're gonna attack like a fool. Move here. Ethereal Feint does that. Planted does that. Does that. Yeah, we're gonna move. Oh, you attack diagonally, you sneaky snake! Well played, or something. Ethereal Feint. And miss. He's gonna attack again. Well, we can't move. There we go. He's gonna... What are you gonna do? You gonna attack? I can't... Yeah, I'm not falling into your stinking traps. Well, let's attack, I guess. Blindside? What happens? Is it stun? Because we always dodge that direction. We're gonna win this clash, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. He has to roll 6 higher than us, which is possible, but not likely. You're gonna attack again like a jerk. And then you're gonna move. Ethereal Feint. Poof. And attack. And blindside? Yeah. And attack. That's a good combo, that blindside into the diagonal. I like that a lot. I do wish, and this is asking way too much, I understand, I'm greedy. I do wish I could control where I dashed off to. My education tells me that they always post guards near the entrance. Their actual lairs always tend to be built a lot deeper underground. Hide the goblins' bodies. Interesting. Let's try that. I wonder if that will prevent the ambush later on. You drag 3 goblins back to the entrance and place them outside behind a large outcrop of rock. Hopefully they should be well hidden, even if there are more goblins prowling around on these slopes. Cool. That went better, I think, than it did with Rignar, Firestorm Blade, Viking Man. Sit on bench and rest. We don't need to get provisions. We're only down 2 stamina. Examine the table. Indeed, we want to knock the crystal off the edge again, or is that later on? Luckily for you, large. Whoa! I got 3 last time, right? 18? Is my other guy not lucky? Ah, fantastic. Continue east. Yeah, wooden jetty. Wooden jetty. What you got for me, jetty? The sound of rushing water intensifies as you walk on to a wooden jetty. Waving your lantern, you can see 3 crude nets hanging down into the darkness, attached to wooden handles wedged between the wooden planks. You suspect these to be fishing nets trawling into the unseen river below. We're gonna pull up all of them. You give the net a good pull and haul it up to the jetty. 2 small white fish thrash around inside. I'm no fan of raw fish, but these could come in useful if my provisions run low. Okay. Second net. Bending down, you begin to lift up the net. There is something heavy on the other end, and you need to sit and brace yourself. Despite your strength, you fail to secure yourself. The wood is damp and slimy, and you realize that the weight is actually pulling you slowly closer to the edge of the jetty. Try and find something to secure myself. Bracing yourself, you dig your boots into the gaps between the planks. Test my skill. I've got good skill, so... Did it. You managed to haul up the net. Using every ounce of your strength, you haul up the net. A large shape appears which rolls across the jetty towards you. You quickly stand to your feet. Approach the large shape in the net. The shape in the net writhes and contorts, making grunting noises as you approach. Whatever is inside is clearly a humanoid of some description. How did this thing stay alive underwater? Unless... Oh no, Murlockos! Caught mid-thought, the creature suddenly leaps up towards you, shredding the net in the process. With horror, you realize you are facing a powerful undead monstrosity. Thankfully, your education about the undead tells you that wights can only be harmed with silver weapons. You know that it would be suicidal to attack it right now without one. But I really want to check the third net. Maybe next time, guys, with the other person. Moving as fast as you are able, you jump from the jetty back onto the stone pathway. You immediately find yourself clattering into some humanoid forms in the darkness. You tumble forward into the wall, squashing a couple of goblins in the process. You jump to your feet and can see 5 goblins scrambling, each one looking firstly at you in shock and then in horror towards the wight that is chasing you. The creature looms out of the darkness, snarling and clawing at the air. The goblins scream some unintelligible curse words, seemingly recognizing the enemy that wants to tear you all to shreds. I will keep running. I'm not 100% suicidal. There's nothing over here, right? This is a boring room. But maybe it's a luck-based thing. So we're going to check it out first. Hut. Climb the window? Yeah, nothing important there. Look inside the cage. Reach over and grab the cage. Small glass sphere. That... I pocketed this sphere this time. Was that because of some skill I had, or was it just random? It must just be random. Or was my other character clumsy? I don't think he was. Makeshift bridge. This gun is shot, basically, right? Yeah, attempt from the window. We're gonna get shot, but will we make it? No, we fall back. Okay. So this is just a trap. Don't ever do this, I guess. Maybe, I mean, something maybe might happen if you run out and then run back without trying to climb, but... I don't know, test my skill. Why? Ah, bowstrings. Yes, I remember now. Well, I am so skilled. Arrows miss me. Outcrop of rock, goblin archers. I gotta fight them, right? Or later? You are suddenly alerted to the scampering of feet and 5 goblins burst from the path. You immediately recognize them to be the ones that you left fighting the wight earlier. The goblin archers also climb down, blah blah blah. How did they defeat that wight? Indeed. So hiding the goblin bodies, what did that do? I'm not sure. But this is the fight where we fight a bunch of guys all at once, right? Let's fast forward this, and I don't think you guys want to watch more. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna fast forward through this. Hooray! Having attacked does 3 damage made that insanely trivial. It was awesome. No stamina, 18 souls, boom! The goblin wears a cloak that also conceals a strange-looking lantern. 12 gold pieces. Let's turn on the strange lantern. You light the lantern and almost drop it in surprise as an intensely bright light shines against the cave wall. Interesting, perhaps these goblins defeated the wight with this. You blow out the lantern and place this strange device in your backpack. Maybe it will come in useful later on in the mountain. What will you do? East, we need to explore east. I'm sure it's a dead end. It's not a dead end, oh my gosh! Oh man, branches on branches. You walk up some stone steps that have been crudely cut into the rocky path. Another goblin hut and hanging cage looms above you on your left. You can hear a whimpering, soft cry coming from the cage. Help me, please. Please help. I'm gonna investigate the cage. Sure, it's a distraction, I'm sure. Looking up, the cage appears to be occupied by a small humanoid form. A large metal rod hangs from a rope that appears to be connected to a pulley system above the cage. Let's try the pulley mechanism. Is it gonna crush him? Swaying the rope left to right and making small tugs, you try to work out the mechanism to release the cage. With a little thought, you manage to work out that if you pull the rope backwards and give it a tug while still holding the rope, you will release a catch above, which enables you to slowly lower the cage to the rocky floor. Inside, you see a gnome dressed in only a loincloth and covered in blood and dirt. A gnome barbarian. He looks at you with wary eyes and reaches out his hand. Please set me free, he says. Let's question him. Doesn't hurt anything. You ask the gnome who he is and why he was imprisoned by the goblins. I was a day out of Anvil and got ambushed by some goblins, he says. I think I was thrown into a river. I was following. The gnome looks up at you and completely dejected. Can you release me, please? Yeah, of course. You easily smash the lock from the cage door using the hilt of your weapon. The door creaks open and the gnome tentatively gets up and steps forward to freedom. You are about to suggest checking the gnome's wounds when he suddenly darts forward, running back down the tunnel towards the entrance. Hey, where do you think you're going? Why do I care? 1, 2 things here. 1, don't want to chase him. I suppose that maybe it's how you're allowed to backtrack to take the ladder later. I'm curious what'll happen, but I'm more curious what happens if I proceed, but I was also hoping to check out the hut before proceeding. What is this compass? Oh, which direction it is? It tells me. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, we're gonna continue east though. We're not gonna chase that gnome. Chasing things, Dark Souls has made me basically never chasing. So we're gonna climb the ladder. We're gonna go up, because I think it's the wrong direction. So I'm curious what happens. You climb the ladder as quietly as possible. You peer over the top of the platform and can see a large orc asleep on a chair. He is sitting next to another goblin hut that has a small doorway leading into a darkened room. You carefully pull yourself over the edge and get to your feet. The orc continues to snore loudly, and you notice another hanging cage to your left. Something appears imprisoned within. Oh, and more gnomes. I'm feeling feverish again, not sure I have the strength to pick a fight. What does that mean? -4 skill? Oh, sneak past the orc to the north. Boring. Should have picked a different, less sickly character. Carefully, you attempt to sneak past an orc. Crap. Phew. Made it. Continue quietly. You duck under the low-hanging cage. Before you can continue, you suddenly hear a goblin voice coming from above you. Gah! Intruder crack! Okay, whirling around you see that a small goblin is standing upright in the cage with an arm outstretched, pointing at you. I need to quieten this goblin. It's going to wake the orc and everything else. Hit the cage. Why can't I just stab the goblin? Just murder the goblin. In cold blood. I'm not gonna ask. I'll ask him. I'm gonna ask him. I'm curious what'll happen. That's not a question. You didn't ask him. You ordered him. Oh. The goblin continues screaming, jumping up and down excitedly. Open the cage and pull the goblin out. The goblin falls to the floor, quickly pulling itself upright. Out of the darkness, something stirs, and the now very awake orc emerges, swinging a large, serrated blade. In one swift action, the goblin's head is removed from its shoulders. You draw your weapon as the orc lunges towards you, screaming in rage. This orc did not want to be woken. Fight the orc. Get woke, orc! Going down. Oh, you're a different looking orc than I thought you would look. I thought I'd be like the more the orc taskmaster type guys. I guess I've seen it before. Skill 5. Stamina 15. Ooh. You are a beefy boy. We're gonna attack. Right into my trap. You're trying to attack me? No, you're gonna move again, ain't ya? I forgot what Ethereal Feint did. I know there's the two attacks, but I thought I had some other cool feature. Let's try and do, if this works, it'll be cool. Blindside. Why'd that go first? I'm an idiot. Okay, he's gonna attack again. Sure, let's clash. Oh no, you're just being a dummy dumb. Okay, now let's try the Ethereal Feint. Yeah. That kinda worked. Let's move. Do you attack diagonally? No, you don't. Blindside again. Yeah. Nice. Perfect. Combo. Sucker. No stamina lost. Fool. The orc slumps to the floor in a pool of blood next to the headless goblin. You decide to press on northwards. What about the hut? We can climb the wooden steps or follow the stone path along the ledge. I'm not even really sure what choice. Follow this. I don't even really just go over here? Sure, this one's definitely a dead end, right? Of course not! Oh man! This game's fantastic. You make your way into what appears to be an armory. Swords, shields, and other pieces of equipment litter the floor in a haphazard fashion. Above you hangs yet another prisoner cage, which appears empty, and stone steps lead out upwards to your left. In the darkness, from ahead, you can hear the sounds of lots of tiny feet scurrying across rocks, accompanied by chattering voices. You quickly turn off your lantern. I hope it's not spiders. I'm starting to feel unwell again. This is terrible timing. -2 more skill. Well, return to the goblin hut to hide, return to the wooden steps, and get a higher position. My only two options are retreat. I'm gonna hide in the goblin hut, because that's where I wanted to go anyway. I'm sure it's full of orcs. Open up, crawl quickly into the hut. Ah, it's a goblin horde oncoming, he thinks. You need to crawl on your hands and knees to get through the doorway. On entering the dark space, you wave your lantern around and see a mess of objects strewn around the room. You suddenly feel unwell again. Cough, hack, feel strange, burning up inside, cough. Two large creatures suddenly jump out of the shadows. You try desperately to back out of the hut before they reach you. This is not going to go well. Yeah. What happens? The rats sink their teeth into your flesh. Gritting your teeth, you back out of the hut. The rats cling to your forearms. You quickly get to your feet and back away from the entrance, eager to get some space between yourself and ghastly creatures. You draw your weapon and ready yourself to fight. I hope it's a mix of rats and goblins. That'd be interesting. And annoying. The rats suddenly stop in their tracks before scurrying off back into the darkness of the hut. Hearing coarse laughter and the clanking of weapons, you slowly turn your head to identify the source of the sounds. Standing behind you are around 30 or so goblins, some dressed in crude-fitting armor and carrying a variety of death-dealing weapons. Not like those posy-dealing weapons. Within seconds, they are upon you. While you manage to kill some of the early attackers, you are quickly overcome by the sheer number of them as spears and swords cut your flesh, and you quickly realize this is a fight you cannot win. Your adventure ends here. So, that went remarkably similar to the first episode, or the previous episode. I'm not trying to die within 20 minutes, you guys. I swear I'm not. But, we will try again as the third character. And now I don't know what decisions to make. Do I want to chase a gnome? Do I want to go down the first ladder that you can go down? We're definitely checking out that third net. There's so many branches. This is fantastic. Looking forward to it. Hopefully you guys are too. Thanks for watching. Signature catchphrase.